Hallo, ich bin's, der Videospieler, und wir spielen weiter AGON, The Lost Sword of Toledo. Wir haben jetzt hier vom Butler die Briefmarke bekommen, die wertvolle Briefmarke, und müssen die beim Antiquitätenhändler versuchen für mindestens 1500 Pesos zu verkaufen. Hier ist Ariaga, da müssen wir hin.
Let's see if I still remember something from my student days when I experimented with acting as a supporting actor.
Ich spreche gleich mit dir, ich gucke mich bloß gerade noch um.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to the gentleman. What would you like?
I was just passing by. You know, I'm only stopping by this city, meeting an old friend in Valencia, a rich aristocrat. You must have heard of him, Don Diego de Mora y Aragon.
Oh, Don Diego is an enormous authority among antique collectors. So you are his good friend. What an honor.
Well, yes.
If I'm not mistaken, you are an English gentleman?
Indeed. I've arrived from London. My name is Hunt, Samuel Hunt. I am a collector as well. Although I did not plan to buy in the city of Toledo, but it so happens my associate has been feeling unwell, and I thought I should not let the opportunity to buy something beautiful for my collection pass me by. Someone recommended you.
Oh, such an honor, Mr. Hunt. I'm pleased to offer my services. If you also need accommodation, I can offer one of the guest rooms of my humble home.
Thank you, Mr. Arriaga, but I already have accommodation. You know, the local policeman was so kind as to...
So you are staying at the Hotel Mayoral. A very pleasant place. Sergeant Riollo's uncle is the owner.
Indeed. I would like to have a look around your shop, if I may.
Oh, all this junk won't suit your tastes. However, I have some treasures which I have been keeping exactly for customers with such high standards as you have, Mr. Hunt.
So you know my taste.
Look, an English gentleman who is Don Diego's friend would be more satisfied with something special than with a gaudy piece of junk.
You've sparked my interest, Mr. Arriaga. Are you talking about very special goods?
You know, some of them are so special that many people are searching for them, even the authorities. If you know what I mean, Mr. Hunt.
Gee, I understand what you're getting at. I think you must have an exciting collection. We could have a look at it presently.
Well, if possible, I would not like to be hasty about it. You know, these are really delicate cases. Please, don't be offended. Although it is far from me to suppose that you are not what you have claimed yourself to be.
Perhaps you're asking me to identify myself.
No, for heaven's sake, Mr. Hunt, we all carry secrets which we should not make public. But money has no scent. So if I'm not offending you, I would like to see that you are able to pay, Mr. Hunt.
Well, you have surprising methods, but I understand. Naturally, I have no considerable amount on me.
No problem, sir. Please, return any time, even at night, when you can prove that your intentions are serious, and I promise to show you paradise.
All right.
And of course, I'm counting on your full confidentiality.
Naturally.
Okay.
Come to think of it, since I did not plan on this trip, I am not carrying cash with me. I would urgently need some money to spend. Are you perhaps interested in stamps as well?
You are at the best place, Mr. Hand. I'm the only antique dealer in the neighborhood who is also an expert in stamps. I might help.
This is an old Spanish stamp. You must be familiar with it. It is not of small value.
Oh, a light blue 1 real stamp from the
Ist aber
middle of the
groß.
last century. Well, you really seem to be a connoisseur.
Would you buy it from me?
Yes, I think so. By all means. I am prepared to pay at least 1,000, even 1,200 pesetas.
Werden wir frech?
Did you say 1,700?
I said 1,500. But due to the prospect of your future purchase, Mr. Hand...
Great, I was thinking of 1,600 as well. It's a deal.
Well, yes. All right, 1,600 pesetas, because you're a real gentleman.
I knew we'd managed to reach an agreement. You know, Mr. Arriaga, as a stranger I feel somewhat lost hereabouts. I have made acquaintances with some people today. I feel that your way of thinking is rather similar to mine. Would you be so kind as to give me some information about these people?
I don't know if I know them, but I'd be glad to help you. So you have heard about it, Mr. Hand. Unfortunate case. I am sorry. I don't know any details. And I'm not interested. The criminal is behind bars and will soon have his due punishment.
It is said that the sword has not been found.
Really? I don't know about it. How should I know?
They also say it is a pretty sword. Perhaps exactly Juan Candalas's work.
Yes, I had the opportunity to see it in the owner's house, but unfortunately I didn't observe it thoroughly enough.
That was a mistake, given what a meticulous expert you are, Mr. Arriaga.
Oh, so you have made the
glaub
acquaintance
dir
of the
nicht ganz.
most beautiful angel of the area. A really kind person, although we are only on greeting terms. And lucky too. It is said that she will soon marry the well-to-do Eugenio Garcia de la Rica, a young man who has a serious political career ahead of him. It's a pity you cannot meet Salvador, the painter. He has died recently. I'm sure you would have found common interests. You know, he lived in England for a long time. He visited noble society. There is a rumor that his daughter's mother was a noble woman. Although, you know, there is so much gossip in a small city like this. But it would be a mistake to believe everything one hears. You've heard about the young blacksmith. Everyone says he is a blessed young man. But have they also mentioned that he is in prison right now? Because he stole from his employer, a rich man? Well, the coin has two sides, Mr. Hand. One cannot choose one's neighbors, Mr. Hand. Especially my fellow poor and modest people are burdened by this curse. Although there used to be a time when that woman respected me, she has not bothered to even greet me for 3 years now. Despite the fact that I swear I haven't done anything wrong. I was selling their work too, but the family blamed me for not being able to sell their swords and daggers. The interest has simply decreased. He was the last descendant of the famous swordsmith family, renowned for their sword craftsmanship. Unfortunately, there was less and less demand for his works. Unlike his father's, Juan Candela's works are well known by collectors all over the world. Maybe you have heard of them, Mr. Hand. They called him the Blade Master. He was a real artist. God bless him. After his death, the weapons he made became even more expensive. Alonso's palace is on La Mancha Square. He's an excellent man, influential, authoritative, and moreover, he has a sense of artistic objects. He buys a lot from me, a man with a very good taste. I was afraid he would move away for a longer time, because there was a rumor that he would be ambassador to a country in South America. However, the plan fell through for some reason. Nowadays, his son, Eugenio, has similar plans. Mr. Alonso's butler, he comes from France. He has a real poker face. You could easily imagine he is hiding something or is running from his past. Stay clear of him, Mr. Hunt. The policeman? Well, I haven't had much business with him. Thank God. I think he is the kind of character that God created precisely to be a policeman. Who? Domingo? I don't know him.
Thank you for your kindness, Mr. Arriaga. As I have promised, I will soon return, and we will talk about the details of the purchase.
May we have the pleasure, Mr. Hunt. See you later.
Mr. Hand. So, jetzt geben wir dem Hugo seine 1500 Peseten. Die 1600, 1500 kriegt er. Wie ausgemacht.
Oh, the door is open. Perhaps Hugo won't be angry if I simply enter the garden. Hugo?
Ah, da sitzt er.
This garden is very pretty and fits this rich palace.
Da ruckelt die Engine.
You can't deny that this butler knows how to live.
Ja, hallo Hugo.
Hugo, I have good news. I managed to make a deal with the arts dealer. I sold your stand.
Oh, really? Well, I am very grateful for you, Professor. May I ask how much you got for it?
Ich kann
You
gar nichts
wanted to
anderes
have
wählen.
1500
Wahrscheinlich brauche ich
for
die
it, didn't
100.
you? Well, I brought you that amount.
You are an excellent businessman, Mr. Hunt. Thank you. Thank you. And now, I will give you what I promised. Here you are. The permission in Mr. Alonso's abrupt style. The sergeant won't doubt it was written by the master.
Are you certain that the writing is sufficiently similar?
I am? How shall I say? It's not the first time that I have used this ability of mine, sir.
I believe I understand.
I hope it is successful. And one more thing. The book. You asked for the book I found a stamp in. Here you are. It's yours. Tell me if it is of any use to you. Although I wouldn't be the one to help you when you want to buy a vineyard in the La Mancha region.
Thank you very much indeed, Hugo.
The merchant is a sly criminal. A mean man is hiding behind his false modesty. They say his friends are from the underworld. Armed guards watch his sleep at night. Of course, you know the town gossip. But be careful nevertheless, Professor. If you allow me to suggest, always take his words with a grain of salt.
Okay, also wir sind fertig. Dear Sergeant, Professor Hunt has come from England. This is a good friend of the family. He knew the late Mr. Candelas too. I cannot deny him the permission to see and take that rascal Candela's son. Please allow them to meet. Wonderful. Also wenn ich was mit anfangen kann, dann wahrscheinlich mit der Naja. So, Polizei. Ich mag die Zwischenbilder, die sind richtig gut gezeichnet. Was mich glauben lässt, dass das Spiel als 2D gezeichnetes Adventure deutlich hübscher
Look,
wäre.
they aren't gone yet? All right, Professor. It will be as Mr. Alonso requested. You can talk to that blacksmith's assistant whenever you wish to. That is, as long as he is there, because once they come for him from Madrid, this paper will be of no use. Go ahead. The corridor door is open. What I think of the dealer? Do you know that we have had anonymous reports from here and there that strange people come to visit him, and he has connections in the criminal underworld? But I must say, I keep an eye on him, and I haven't caught him in any misconduct. And then you cannot just hold somebody responsible because of who he is friends with. It is easy to believe the town gossip, but where is the proof? You understand? The proof. That's what's missing in these cases. Tangible proof.
Like in the case of Francisco Candelas.
Yes. No, that is an entirely different case. But if there were proof there, maybe it would be a different situation. The French butler is a lord among the lords. I tell you, Professor, he holds his nose so high up, it's as if he weren't serving Mr. Alonso, but vice versa. Mr. Alonso, whom I respect deeply for his achievements, knowledge, and birth, once told me what he thinks of sin. He said that it is poverty that breeds sin in people, need and despair. And it is always the rich who are abused then. Very wise thoughts. I have come to see more clearly since then. I keep one eye on the poor and the other on the rich. You always have to protect those more who have more to lose. Right, Professor?
Well...
Believe me, such wisdom is worth more than an excellent cigar. And I really like cigars, you know?
Ich habe eine Zigarre. Vielleicht kann ich das später mal brauchen. Diese Information.
Are you Senor Candelas?
Yes, I am. But who are you? Some detective? Are you already taking me to Madrid?
My name is Hunt. Professor Samuel Hunt from the British Museum. We don't know each other, but I know a secret of yours that only very few know. That is why I'm here.
Secret? Is that how you want to get false testimony from me? I won't be fooled by your tricks, sir. I didn't steal that cursed sword.
Calm down, my friend. I want to help you, but you must help me too.
What do you want from me?
First of all, more accurate information, young Candelas. I am ready to believe that you are innocent, but it is not easy to prove.
Are you going to be my lawyer, Mr. Hunt? Perhaps Carmen asked you to be my lawyer?
No, not quite. Believe me, it is important for me personally that you be set free soon.
This is getting mysterious. Would you tell me where you know me from or what you want from me?
I think you must know if I say that, in fact, I am in search of the AGON.
The AGON? What? In search of the AGON? Gee! You'd be the legendary hero who comes one day according to tales to take the curse off our family?
Excuse me, but what is so funny about it?
I apologize. It is simply that this is not how I imagined it as a child. You know, you're not exactly what a hero looks like in a classical tale.
I agree with that, Mr. Candelas, but it also seems this is not a tale at all.
Just call me Francisco. I'm not worthy of the Candela's name anymore.
Don't talk like this.
But I'm not. But this is not so important now. It is more important that I have here before me the man who brings my ancestors' legend alive, and the hero who will bring freedom one day.
Well, you would need that at the moment, Francisco.
Yes, it's true. Because if you don't get me out of here in a short time, I will never teach you the Cursed Alquerque.
Alquerque?
That's the name of the game. According to the tradition, the Moors brought it to Spain hundreds of years ago. They knew it by the name of El Quaquet. Then, thanks to the curse, it was slowly forgotten.
I see. I would not like to miss the opportunity to get to know it. Please help me. Let me do everything I can for it.
Of course. What are you interested in, Mr. Hunt?
I have tried to sniff around in the city. I have discovered a surprising number of details, but you may think they are worth nothing in the absence of your honest confession.
Just ask me, Mr. Hunt. I'll answer all your questions. Look, Mr. Hunt, I didn't do it. That sword was important to our family, since it was one of my grandfather's masterpieces. But one day my father gave it to Alonso Garcia de la Rica as a present. Perhaps the reasons he gave it to him will never be discovered. Because I'm sure my father did not act of his own accord. I did not see the beautiful weapon for a long time because it was my father who was at Mr. Alonso's beck and call until he died. Then of course I came. I basically worked for him for a few alms. Small maintenance, blacksmith jobs were my tasks, quite a lot lately. It was strange to see the sword again. Yes, it is true that I did adore it. The old lord of the castle may have seen it, but also Hugo the butler. There's nothing about it. One day, I also noticed that my grandfather made a mistake in the family coat of arms. Maybe that is why he never sold the sword. True, this mistake with the child's head had never occurred to me before, but of course I didn't call the new owner's attention to it. And then I don't know more. Suddenly there was this riollo stomping at the door of our house. Mr. Alonso was with him and that playboy Eugenio. They arrested me. They questioned me. Then they simply locked me up. And now, nobody asks anything.
It is interesting to hear what you are saying, Francisco, but I must admit it doesn't help much. In whose interest could it have been? Who could have stolen the sword?
Mr. Alonso had just asked me to prepare the bars on the front windows of the palace. There are bars only protecting the back wall and the rooms on the ground floor. Anyone could break into that house and take the sword. Unfortunately, I don't know if something else was also taken at the same time, but any one of his acquaintances could have done it. There was an old general who never missed a chance to praise my grandfather's work. Since he was deaf, he spoke rather loudly. I myself could clearly hear that he offered almost a fortune. But then there is that cursed Arriaga, the dealer who was a regular visitor in the palace. Or Hugo, the butler. Maybe he is not afraid to lose his job. I have also wondered if perhaps Eugenio or the master himself planned a way to remove me as an obstacle to Carmen. I don't know. There is no way I can know.
Yes, I am aware of these reasons. Miss Diaz Palencia told me about everything. She loves you deeply, Francisco.
I know. And she can be certain that I love her too. Please tell her that I think of her very often. Will you be seeing her?
Of course. She was so kind as to host me. I am staying in the late painter's room.
Perfect. Perhaps This way there is someone to look after her. Will you be so kind, Mr. Hunt?
You can count on me, Francisco.
Look, I cannot give you an unbiased opinion of that man. The two families have not even been talking for years, so we cannot talk about the family in Arriaga's case. He is not married, has no children. He has 2 apprentices, some maids, and strange visitors. As you must know, we live across from his house. My room window overlooks the shop. I have witnessed several times rich clients incognito and shady characters creeping into his place late at night or at midnight. Who knows what he deals in?
Do you think an art dealer can be involved in the theft of the work of art?
No, I haven't thought of that, but it is absolutely possible. But since I've been sitting here behind the bars, there is no one to watch what happens at the shop. Unless you could do it, or ask my mother to watch.
Well, I'd be glad to watch that man, but I believe your mother would be the better candidate.
Yes, perhaps you are right. If you get me a pencil and paper, I'll write her a letter. You know, the friendship between the two families was perhaps made in heaven. Even our fathers loved each other like 2 brothers. True, Salvador lived in England for a long time, but I forgive him this, since otherwise he could not have returned with such an angel, Carmen. We were raised together. We came to know the world together. Our sole fortune is that we are not real siblings because we are free to be lovers. Although this love is burdened with a curse that is heavier than that of the AGON. Recently a rival appeared, none other than the young Eugenio. His only weapon is a piece of paper that Carmen's father signed and in which he gives me 2 months of life. Because in 2 months, Carmen will be 21 years old and she will have to marry Mr. Alonso's son. And I will surely kill him. And then myself. I love to listen to his stories, in which either he or someone he knew was the hero. He knew everything, always had something on his mind. He also taught me how to play the trumpet when I was a child, but unfortunately I have no ear for music, Mr. Hunt. However, I was better at painting and drawing than Carmen, even though she has a skillful hand too. Take a look at her embroidery. Salvador was like an uncle to me. I was deeply upset when he died. My mother is the most loving mother in the world. She served her family, husband, and children all her life. I think myself ungrateful that I leave her alone just when she would need my help. This is not what she deserves. My father was always hard on me, but I loved him very much. In the beginning, he was a real slave driver in the workshop, but as I grew up, he changed in my eyes. He became my role model as I began to understand what a treasure rests in his hands, and that he was preparing to hand it all over to me, his son. He only told me about the legend of the AGON once he saw that I had changed. The butler? It's impossible for me to get a sense of him. Always reserved, a cold man. Mr. Alonso is satisfied with him, and that is what counts. Did you know that he is also the gardener in the palace? It was a pleasant surprise to me. A villain. He calls himself a policeman, but he is only a puppet moved by money and ulterior motives. He took the words of the aristocrats like holy scripture. Perhaps if he had been more impartial, I would have had better chances. He considers the case closed, despite the fact that there isn't a single bit of evidence against me.
Okay, also ich brauche einen Stift. Es ist ein sehr gesprächslastiges Spiel. Vielleicht hat Reoius mehr einen Stift.
Sergeant, would you please give me a piece of paper and a pencil to write down a few important things?
Important things that the blacksmith has told you? Impossible.
But there are only a few small things. I would be grateful.
Oh, really?
Oh, that corrupt nature of his. Now I have to find him a cigar somewhere.
Oh, a cigar. Oh, smells divine.
It's yours, but please let me use paper and a pencil.
What? Well, all right. You'll find paper and pencil there on the desk.
Thank you.
Ah. Oh. Ist ja richtig viel. Aber leider... Okay. Aber leider... Die Bilder werden nicht abgespeichert sozusagen. Habe ich jetzt Paper und Pencil? Ganz da vorne.
Thank you. Now write my mother saying you are free to enter our place, that she should let you look around my room and watch Arriaga. Be careful and not to lose sight of him. Done. Take her to our house as soon as possible. And tell my mother that I love her very, very much. I am fine. She need not worry about me.
I'll do just that, Francisco. Hold out. I'll figure something out. See you later.
See you later, Mr. Hunt. I hope you'll succeed.
Also, meine nächste Aufgabe ist, zu Isabel zu gehen. Das machen wir dann auch beim nächsten Mal. Ich glaube, wir haben jetzt schon wieder eine halbe Stunde. Das passt. Ich sage tschüss, bis dann, euer Videospieler. Und damit sind wir am Ende dieses Videos angelangt. Wenn es euch gefallen hat, ich habe noch jede Menge mehr Videos in meinem Kanal. Schaut rein, abonniert, unterstützt mich finanziell auf Patreon, würde mich freuen. Tschüss und vielen Dank.